Many Sahabis were Al-Quran Al-Kareem. You all know the story of that Sahabi who came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Said, Ya Rasulullah, when I get married, I don't have any money. You don't have any, you can't get any ring from even anything? No, I can't. You can't this? No, I don't have anything. How much do you memorize from Al-Quran? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, Subhanallah, how much do I memorize from the Quran? Huh? He married him with his, how many surahs he memorizes from the Quran? Subhanallah. Yesterday we were talking about the mahar of one sahabiya, Sahla, radiallahu anha. Her mahar was the word, one ayah, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. This was her mahar. This was her mahar. Barakah, the mahar. This is Al-Quran. Because Al-Quran, barakah. The problem is the society nowadays is filled with misguidance. Why? Because they're avoiding the Quran. Filled with disease, sicknesses, all kinds of new things are coming. Why? Because Al-Quran is not there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أن القرآن شفاء. Al-Quran is a cure. Literally cure. Cure. So when you try it and you see what this will do to you, what kind of turning your life around, but on one condition, that you have to believe what you're reading and reciting, and the second condition, sincerity and presence with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Realizing that you are reading this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at you at this very moment, knowing what you're going through, not reading the Quran and thinking, what you're going to do this, when you're going to do this, like most people do nowadays. They read the Quran, and he's thinking, what am I going to do tomorrow? And many things are going through their minds. And what kind of reading is this? Who are you cheating? And let's face it. Who are we cheating? Who are we fooling? When you sit in front of the book of Allah, this book of Allah that we have it here, but it did not come easy. Many Sahaba Kiram radiallahu anhum died and spilled their blood so you can have this copy of Al-Quran. Many of them. Thousands of them. So you can have this. By what face are we sitting in front of the Quran, reading the Quran, maybe a little bit, TV is back in the background, this in the background, and you're thinking about every kind of thing in the background. Who are we fooling when we do that? And then we dare to ask, Ya Allah, why is this happening to me? Oh Allah, why me? Little difficulty comes, little hardship comes, why me? Why is this happening to me? I'm really, I'm reading the Quran, I'm going to Majami, I'm praying, all this. Why me? Why you? How are you reading the Quran? What is your relationship with the Quran? I said at the beginning, Al-Quran is the standard for your relationship, the standard for your Iman, the reflection of your Iman. The stronger your relationship with Al-Quran, the stronger your Iman is, and this is how you can judge yourself. Everyone by themselves tonight. You go judge yourself. Do we sit home and teach our kids Al-Quran when we go home? We teach our brothers Al-Quran when we go home. We teach our wives Al-Quran when we go home. We teach our sons Al-Quran, our daughters Al-Quran, our mothers Al-Quran. Do we go home and simply get the family, let's make it a happy evening today, we're going to recite Surah Al-Fil? Do we do that? We have to ask ourselves these tough questions. Instead of gathering the family on a dinner and gathering the family on these TV shows and all these things, do we gather them on Surah Al-Falaq? Do we gather them on Surah Al-Alaq? Do we gather them on Surah Al-Ikhlas? Do we gather the family on Surah Al-Nas? We have to ask ourselves. Then how can we expect better treatment? How can we expect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us nusra? How can we expect that Allah gives us tawfiq? How can we expect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps us then on the right track if we don't keep ourselves? If we are betraying the amana. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. How is this takreem that we started? The takreem by carrying the amana. Carrying this trust. Which is this trust? Al-Quran al-Azim. إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ What happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want to carry? Samawat al-ard, earth and heaven, and the mountains. فَأَبَيْنَ أَن يَحْمِلْنَهَا وَأَشْفَقْنَ مِنْهَا. They said, this is heavy amana, heavy trust. أَشْفَقْنَ مِنْهَا. Who carried it? Al-insan. Al-insan carried this amana. And because Al-insan carried the amana, in order for us to have a good result, we have to know how to treat the amana. If someone gives you an amana, you should return it to them the way they told you to hold it, and the way they told you to keep it. Ahadith, many ahadith, among them, that those who recite Surah Al-Kahf, Friday, many of you know this. Those who recite Surah Al-Kahf on Fridays, every Friday between Fajr and Maghrib, make sure you recite Surah Al-Kahf, because if you do, there will be a nur from your home, where you live, all the way to heavens. So that it becomes the guide for the malaika. When they see this nur, they know this man recites Surah Al-Kahf every Friday. And this nur will continue until you die. Subhanallah. And in the Day of Judgment, there will be people called the people of Quran. Special maqam, special status. Just like in the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors those who have Al-Quran al-Azim in them. But also those not only who memorize it, who practice Al-Quran. And this is open for every one of us. So when we enter our salah, we say Allahu Akbar, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. You are standing right now, you have just entered the Hadra of Rabbil Alameen. You are entering the presence, if you are enabled, that you are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbul Alameen. I'm not saying the King of England, I'm not saying the Queen, the King of America, I'm not saying the King of Africa, I'm saying the Lord of the worlds, Jalla Jalaluh, Rabbul Alameen. So you know who you're standing in front of. So you know what, when you recite this Quran, what kind of relationship do you have with the salah? Why do we commit sins then? Because the salah is not right. Why is the salah not right? Because the Quran is not right. Because we just say the Quran like this, giving lip service. It's not coming out of the heart. Just like the istighfar, right? People say istighfar, lip service, not coming out of the heart. Because the tongue is supposed to be an expression tool of the heart. When you say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, your heart must be feeling. What does that mean? Not only you're saying it by your tongue. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. You have to go with His Rahmah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without His Rahmah, you are nothing. Nobody is not anything. Maliki Yawmiddin. There is going to be a day when we all will be judged. And then this is a direct khitab. This is a direct talk from you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the salah, when you recite the Quran, إِيَّاكَ وَاللَّهِ إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدْ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. You are submitting, you're giving yourself. You are standing in front of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you recite the Quran, the ayahs always go around this. 1/3 of the Quran is about Tawheed. 1/3. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدْ is about إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدْ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Who do we worship? And then right away the Quran puts you on two ways. Right away. في الفاتحة. You're still in the middle. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Right, two ways. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. You go the صراط, the straight pathway of who that you have given tawfiq to, that you have given ni'mah to. Therefore, among the biggest ni'mah on you, if you are one who recites the Quran, and if you are one who holds the Quran in your heart, and if you're one who interacts with the Quran all the time, this is the greatest ni'mah Allah has given you. And if you don't, and if you abandon the Quran, some people even weeks pass by without them opening the Quran in their home. They have 3, 4, 5 different Qurans in the Quran. But weeks pass by without opening this Quran. This Quran will complain on the Day of Judgment. Will come and testify against you. Oh Allah, they bought me and they put me on the shelf. And at the Day of Judgment, you can't talk. You can't talk unless you have a permission. So the Quran will testify all the way. Versus some people, the Quran will come as their shafi'. The Quran will come and intercede for them, say, oh Allah, I testify with this man. He used to read me during the day and during the night. I'm a witness. And the Quran is just witness. The Quran comes, testifies on your behalf. Versus testifies against you. Which one do you want to be among? Which one do we want to be? Among those who the Quran testifies against or testifies with? What is the Quran doing then closed? Weeks, some people even months go by without them opening the Quran in their homes. 1 month. But I guarantee you almost every day they're turning on the TV. But the Quran, no. Some people months go by. Well, months, 2, 3, 4.